What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about the Kansas Jayhawks football team. They are coming off of what I would call a bye week, but it's often referred to as an open week in college football. And we're going to be kicking off Big 12 play against the West Virginia Mountaineers. And ladies and gentlemen, they had an absolute phenomenal football game against the Pittsburgh Panthers.
What a scene, Coach. Congratulations. This is about as happy as I've ever seen you, Coach. How do you describe your emotions right now?
I'm so happy for our kids, for the state of West Virginia.
It went end to end, wire to wire. It was a phenomenal football game. And the West Virginia Mountaineers really kind of went all in that football game. I think some of that will factor into this game against the Jayhawks, and we're going to be talking about every last bit of that. So we're going to jump right in. The Kansas Jayhawks will be hosting the West Virginia Mountaineers on Saturday, September 20th. That game will kick off at 5 p.m. Central Time in the brand new, elaborate David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. I'm excited to see this. It will be hosted on FS1 for the people that can see that. Now, we're going to kind of talk about what's some of the games or experiences that Kansas has really kind of gone through. So Kansas will enter this game 2-1. As so does the West Virginia Mountaineers. At home this season, Kansas is 2-0 with a couple strong, really good performances. Now, the level of competition obviously was not as great, but the fact that they're outscoring their opponents at home 77-14 should speak to kind of where the Jayhawks, how comfortable they are at home. But again, they did play some lesser opponents in Fresno State and Wagner. Now, in their last home game versus Wagner, Kansas did amass 631 yards in total in offense, winning that game 46-7. Now, defensively, over the two games so far, they've allowed 359 yards at home again. I want to make sure that is emphasized because they did go on the road to Missouri in Columbia, and that was a heck of a football game too, even though we came up short. Now, the Kansas Jayhawks are led by six-year senior Jalen Daniels, ladies and gentlemen. Phenomenal quarterback, a good individual. I'm excited to see him really kind of start to finish his college career in the Big 12. And so we're going to see kind of where he's sitting. He's currently completing roughly 72% of his passes across the first three games. His stats include 79 passing yards. 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, plus 90 rushing yards. And that goes with the rushing touchdown that he did have at Mizzou. Now, the top pass catchers we need to continue to pay attention to really are tight end Deshaun Hanukkah. Hanukkah has absolutely been a connection, an A to B type of tight end for Jalen Daniels. He currently has 9 catches, 95 yards for 3 touchdowns. And another one to pay attention to is Alabama transfer Emmanuel Henderson Jr. He has 12 catches for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. And to wrap it up, to cap it off on the receiver side, Cam Pickett. Cam Pickett has been a phenomenal addition to this Kansas Jayhawks program. He has 10 catches for 124 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, my favorite side of the football, and one that I really think that this team is going to kind of take it to the next step, really kind of elevate. After that Missouri football game, they really identified some areas to improve. They really talked about it. The defensive coordinator really kind of went into detail on some of the things that they really worked on post-Missouri. And so some of those things really kind of included getting the opposing team off the field in deep third downs. Also, they talked about wrapping up and tackling and continue to get tackles for losses. So linebacker Trey Lathan, who used to play for West Virginia, Trey Lathan, ladies and gentlemen, phenomenal linebacker. Dude has been balling. Leads the team with 25 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and he's added a few pass breakups. Now, one of my favorite players on this defensive side of the ball, and the reason is because his heart. His ability to put it all out there, play through injury, and that is Bengali Kamara.
How limited were you, if at all?
Definitely, I was devastated that we lost because it was such an up and down. Myself like, okay, like let's get to that. We got the bye week. Let's get better.
Yeah.
The better you are, the better you play. So that was the case.
He also has made a significant impact with 13 tackles in 2 games, 4 tackles for a loss, which is a team best. Though he missed the Kansas game versus Wagner, ladies and gentlemen, he had an impactful first game against Fresno. He did sack the quarterback, causing a stripped fumble, but he really did come out against Missouri. He was dealing with a knee injury. There was a lot of question marks around whether he was going to be able to play or not, and he put it all out there, ladies and gentlemen. Excited that he is a Kansas Jayhawk. Now we're going to kind of dive in and talk a little bit about the West Virginia Mountaineers and some people that probably we should be paying attention to, just to make sure that we're really, highlighting those players as if they were to do good, we know what we're looking for. They're coming off of a 20th overtime win over Pitt in the backyard brawl. I did talk about this early on in the video. They really did go all out in this football game. They exhausted a lot. Now, obviously, there's a period of time between games, but for how physical this football game was, West Virginia was not expected to win. So I really think that they poured a lot into this. So I'll be curious to see how they come out against the Kansas Jayhawks. They had trailed in this game by 10 in the fourth quarter before mounting a comeback. Running back Ty Edwards rushed for 141 yards and had 3 touchdowns in the game. So we really kind of know to highlight Ty Edwards. He's going to be a good running back. Obviously, they like to run the football, and Coach Rodriguez is going to have these guys, I think, fired up and ready to play inside the booth. So we'll have to see. Now, like I stated, West Virginia head coach Rich Rodriguez, now in his first season back at West Virginia. He previously coached there from 2001 to 2007 and is 63-26 in his early tenure. So making a return to the West Virginia Mountaineers. Now, some more things to really kind of identify. This will be the 14th meeting in the series between Kansas and West Virginia, and it is the 6th meeting in Lawrence. So, interesting facts there. And then the matchup is part of the early season Big 12 play. Obviously, this is the kickoff. So, it is the first of their conference games. Some more things to really kind of highlight there. I'm excited for this football game, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe that the Kansas Jayhawks, they're coming off of how do I want to say it? It was a very good football game against the Missouri Tigers. It was a very hard-fought game against the Missouri Tigers, and it was at some point a very winnable game against the Missouri Tigers. There was a lot of things that obviously started to turn the tide. The Tigers really won the time of possession. They had the ball for almost 40 minutes. It was some incredible time, and really the Tigers just chipped away, ladies and gentlemen. We went into their house. At one point, we were up 21-6, I believe, 21-3. It was an incredible football game. Am I disappointed that the Jayhawks lost? Yes, I am, because it was in their grasp of winning. But I think what I've learned from this, and it's something that I really talked about before, the Missouri game even happened. If I had to choose between Missouri and Big 12, obviously I would be accepting of losing to the Missouri Tigers and really excelling in the Big 12, because when it matters is winning in the Big 12, going to the Big 12 championship, and really kind of going from there. I think if you're able to make a statement in the Big 12, you can start to rise those ranks. You can start to build on Lance Leipold's legacy that he's going to continue to build at Kansas. And I think that that's the most important thing. And I think that they have a chip on their shoulder. They learned from some of those mistakes. I think they're going to be flying around. They're going to have the home crowd behind them. And this is the opening of Big 12 play against I wouldn't say lesser opponent, but a more equal opponent against the West Virginia Mountaineers. I'm excited for this football game. It'll be a great one to watch. And I do anticipate the Kansas Jayhawks will pull this one out for sure. And we will continue on with the season after that. I appreciate you all checking out this video. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of this Kansas Jayhawks football team. Do you anticipate a win against West Virginia? And Also, who is your favorite player? I'd be curious to know who you guys like on this Kansas Jayhawks football team. I'm a big Lyric Rawls fan. I guess I could probably make another video because I could go on and on about this Kansas football team. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you checking out the video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and as always, I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.